Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Today I'll be making a card using Honeybee Stamp's Lovely Layers Peony dies. I've printed off the layering guide and you can download this on Honeybee Stamp's website. So it has a picture of all the different pieces and the order in which you layer them. This set creates the large bloom and also one of the buds. To cut out all of my die cut pieces, I'll be using Honeybee Stamp's brand new Bitty Buzz Cutter. This is the cutest little die cut machine ever. It includes 3 plates. One is 5mm and 2 of them are 3mm. I'll be using the 5mm on the bottom as the base. Then I have my die, my cardstock, and then a 3mm plate on top. If you have small embossing folders, you can also use the machine to emboss. You would use 2 of the 3mm plates. If you're traveling this summer and you like to bring along some of your paper crafting, this is the perfect portable die cutting machine. The plates are 3 inches by 6.5 inches, so it's perfect for all those smaller dies. And every die on the Lovely Layers Peony set fits perfectly through this machine. Sometimes it's hard to make that very first cut into a brand new plate, but once you've done it, you might as well keep cutting out more die cuts. For my peony flower, I selected 7 different shades of purple cardstock, and I just dug through my cardstock scraps, so I didn't cut up any brand new sheets of paper. I love having this style of die to use up some of those scraps. So I did speed this portion up quite a bit while I'm cutting out all of my different layers. I have the darkest shade for the back of the flower and I'm working my way up to the lighter purple. It's nice having a small die cutting machine that I can actually show in my videos. My other die cutting machine is way too big. It's also nice that you can fold up the 2 sides so it doesn't take up a lot of room for storage. I'll also cut out a few of the leaves and 1 portion of the bud. I cut out the rest of the bud pieces off screen. So now I have all of my die cut pieces. I have 3 of the leaves, all of the pieces for the bud, and the 7 pieces for the main peony. And these are so easy to assemble. I'll be using Honeybee Stamp's precision tip glue to adhere my flower together. You can add some foam dimension, but I'm just using my fingers in rolling up some of those outside petals. When I put liquid adhesive down, I'm just putting it on the very lower portion of the flower. It's easy to tell which part of the layers will be visible since they have the etch detail. Honeybee Stamps has released a large variety of different lovely layer flowers. Their tulip and sunflower are some of my favorites. So there are all of those 7 pieces together. I think having all the different shades of cardstock really adds the look of dimension on the flower. So now I'll assemble the bud. There aren't as many pieces, but I'm still using 4 different shades of purple cardstock. For the very background piece that has the stem, I used some green cardstock. Then I'll start layering all of my purple cardstock pieces on top. Again, I have the darkest shade of purple for the back of the flower and the lightest shade at the front of the flower. I'll add the final greenery piece to the peony bud. So now I'll start working on the card. The paper collection I'll be using is Hot Tropics. I selected this beautiful green tone-on-tone pattern. So I've cut this down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I'll also be adding the wooden crate die cuts. I'll glue the 2 pieces together. Now you could add some flowers inside the crate, but only part of the crate will be visible on my card, so I'm not worrying about trying to add any flowers inside. Once I have the 2 pieces of the crate assembled, I can add it to my card. I'll use some more liquid adhesive on the back side and adhere it in the lower left-hand corner. Once I have the crate in place, I'll start adding my flowers. I'll just lay the large bloom on top of the crate so I can get the placement correct for all the other pieces. I will be popping up the bud and also the large bloom. I'm using some thin foam squares. Then I'll put a little bit of liquid adhesive on the stem. After I have the peony bud in place, I can start adding the branches. I'll add one of the branches on the left, one will stick out on the top, and the other will poke out on the right side. Now I'll put some more thin foam dimension on the back side of the large bloom. I'll use some of the large squares and the small squares of foam dimension so I have nice even coverage. Remove the release paper and add my flower on top of my crate. And this is either a very large bloom or a really small wooden crate. Next, I'll be using some gold metallic paint to add a lovely splatter to the background. And I'll be covering everything, the flowers, the crate, the leaves. I don't like the large splatter, so I first tapped off the brush onto the paper towel. This is a very simple way to add beautiful shine to your card. So there it is, all dry. Now I'll start working on the sentiment. I've already stamped out Thinking of You, and this is from Honeybee Stamps Small Card Big Hug Stamp and Coordinating Honeycut die set. First, I'll layer my card panel on some green cardstock, and it does have a lovely pearlescent finish. My cardstock layer is 1/8 of an inch larger than the pattern paper panel. 5 3/8 of an inch by 4 1/8 of an inch. I'll add my card front onto a card base, and I am leaving the 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Then I'll use some liquid adhesive to adhere the sentiment on the right side of the flowers. I love how you can mix and match the sentiments on the stamp set. I've always been a fan of using general sentiments, hello, thinking of you, for you. That way the card will work for most occasions. To finish off the card, I'm using some of Honeybee Stamps' brand new Spring Pearls. Lots of lovely spring colors, and the green matches perfectly with this pattern paper. I put 3 around the sentiment and 2 in the upper left-hand corner. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. If you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, I do have links provided in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.